Hello, good evening and welcome. This is the Primetime News at 9, coming to you live from the Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Nadim Majid.
And I'm Sonali Wanikapadige. First, a look at your headlines.
Drug dealer killed in a police shooting in Athrugiriya. Munragal police have not been notified regarding an individual armed with a sword, a statement from the police media spokesperson. Man apprehended with stock of ballot papers in his possession remanded. The Vennapur bus stop, which collapsed, will have to be rebuilt by the subcontractor, a statement from the State Engineering Corporation.
An individual suspected of being a drug peddler was killed in a police shootout this evening in the Athrugiriya area. Police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohana says that an exchange of gunfire had taken place between officers from the Police Narcotics Bureau and the suspect when they had attempted to apprehend him. The deceased has been identified as Lalita Kaushalya.
A verbal altercation between the Minister of Wildlife Resource Conservation Vijit Vijayamuni Soisa and a group of Samurdhi bank officers took place in the Madigama area yesterday. This heated argument broke out when the minister intervened following a request made by area residents as he was passing through the area.
The events unfolded when Minister Vijit Vijayamuni Soisa was travelling through the Senapati area in Bibila in close proximity to the Samurdhi Bank. A group of residents blocked the minister's path and explained their grievances to him. We came and collected forms to obtain 50,000 rupees each. They said that they would give it yesterday. Then they said that they can give only 25,000. When we came this morning, they said they couldn't give this as well. They told us to come back tomorrow and depending on the attendance of the meeting, they would issue the money. But the posters don't say they would issue this in this way.
I request you to please stop this. Please stop this. Go meet with the divisional secretary and solve this in a proper manner. You will distribute this and then I will be the one who will be in trouble at the end. Do you all understand that when you distribute this to different people, we will lose our votes? Give this in a fair manner and stop this immediately. This electorate cannot be divided into different sections and serve the people. I am the chairman of the coordinating committee. Remember that.
Meanwhile, a Samurdhi officer in Madagama lodged a complaint at the Madagama police stating that the minister levelled threats at them. In the complaint, it has been stated that the minister threatened them because they did not conduct an introductory meeting with regard to the loan scheme. The police added that an investigation is currently being carried out into the incident.
Police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohana noted that an investigation has been launched into an incident where an area politician was seen brandishing a sword opposite the Munragal hospital.
We are certain that many people all over the world have witnessed this footage by now. The police media spokesperson informed us that many individuals informed the police about the local politician who was seen in the Munragal town with an unsheathed sword. Lawyers pointed out that prompt investigations should be launched into such incidents. Meanwhile, 5 individuals arrested in connection to a clash between two groups of UNP supporters which took place on Wednesday were released on bail today. Individuals believed to be supporters of UNP Provincial Council candidate Tissa Kuttiarachchi has assaulted another group of UNPers, and the son of UNP candidate Sampaja Surya was injured in the assault. An unidentified group attacked the Dodanga Havatta elections office of UPFA candidate Udara Soisa this morning. A UNP supporter in the Arava area in Vrithi Maliyatta came under attack yesterday. According to our correspondent in the area, the individual is currently receiving treatment at the Meegaha Kiwula Hospital. Meanwhile, operations continue today to remove illegal propaganda officers as well as cutouts and posters in the Bibila town.
And with all the heat of the election stage, up next is the battle for over.
The Vidhi Malya, the administrative division, is one of the poorest administrative divisions in Sri Lanka. No matter how many requests we make, they have not given us poverty data for the past 10 years. If a government cannot understand the needs of the people, such a government is pointless. They say the Monaragala Divisional Secretariat area is poor. We taught them how to make money. Have the people who make these claims done anything like this? Did they show the correct path? Have they at least donated some coconut plants? Friends, the Uva province, which you call home, is the poorest province in the country. Poverty, which stood at 14%, has risen to 24%. Think about it. Do you want to continue with such an administration? Ask yourself that.
Look into your heart. 20 years is not a small time period. What has the SLFP and the Alliance left you after 2 decades of rule? Malnutrition and other bad effects among our children. The Badulla district has been worst affected by this.
Which UPFA candidate contesting for the Uva Provincial Council does not own a bar? Everyone has one. Some have 2, 4 or 5. We won't deny it. If you want, we can show you the one we bought this year. However, we don't sell liquor. They have been rented out. They are stealing the people's votes by instilling fear. They are using defenders with tinted windows, personnel wearing black uniforms. They are preventing the people from attending meetings and engaging in political dialogue. They are preparing to steal your votes. We should all unite to win a fair election.
Still in local news, Deputy Secretary of the Democratic Party, Anuma Fonseca, has accused female public representatives elected by the public vote of failing to raise their voice against the harassment of women. She made this remark at a public rally held in Badulla.
Everywhere you look, there are incidents of rape and women and children being abused. There is no one to speak for them. There are ministers for this, but they are asleep. There are women who have been elected to parliament, but they too are simply staying silent. Although they speak of various other matters, there is no one to speak about women and children. I believe that our party must be different. That is why we are taking a step forward.
The people's mouths have been closed and democracy has been deprived. Engaging in politics in the opposition too is now akin to a suicidal war. It is an affair where you can be subject to assault, revenge, anger and hatred. When we come among the people, we can feel that they have been trapped under immense pressure. On to one of our headline stories. The State Engineering Corporation says that the relevant subcontractor will reconstruct the Wenapur bus stop, which collapsed midway through construction. Issuing a statement, the State Engineering Corporation says the state will not incur any losses as a result.
A concrete floor of the Vennapur bus stop collapsed last evening during construction. The foundation stone for the multi-storied bus stop was laid in February this month, following which construction commenced in earnest. According to the Divisional Secretary of Vennapur, a sum of 32.5 million rupees is being spent on the construction of the bus stop. The building collapsed while construction was being carried out by a subcontractor under the supervision of the State Engineering Corporation. Several officials, including local politicians, inspected the damage today.
මේ සම්බන්ධව අපි ලබන මේ බදාදා අපි මේ සම්බන්ධව සාකච්ඡාවක් තියෙනවා විශේෂයෙන් අපි මේ රාජ්‍ය ඉංජිනේරු සංස්ථාවට ගම
We will hold a meeting regarding this on Wednesday. We had issued the contract to the State Engineering Corporation. At this meeting we will decide based on the evidence of the inquiry as to how this building collapsed and who should be held responsible. Action will be taken against the responsible parties.
වැරද්ද වෙලා තියෙන කොතනද කියලා සොයාගෙන ඒ අයට උතුරව කටයුතු කරනවා සම්පූර්ණ වගේම රාජ්‍ය ඉංජිනේරු සංස්ථාව බාරගත යුතුයි.
The State Engineering Corporation must take full responsibility for this. We believe that they will rebuild this for us again without wasting public funds.
Issuing a communique, the State Engineering Corporation notes that the subcontractor tasked with building the complex had laid the concrete mixture without the supervision of the corporation. The communique read that the subcontractor had commenced laying the concrete mixture and had later informed the corporation, and that by the time officials from the corporation arrived at the scene, the building had already collapsed. Meanwhile, experts in the construction sector noted that the incident in question is extremely grave when considering public safety.
මේක ඊටා වහනක සිද්ධියක් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ ඉදිකිරීම අංශයේ වගකීම බාර ගන්න ඕනේ කොන්ත්‍රාත්තුව බාරගත්ත ආයතනය රජයෙන් කොන්ත්‍රාත්තුව බාරගත්ත ආයතනය.
This is a very dangerous incident in the construction sector. The institution that accepted the contract from the state must take responsibility for this. Public safety is of utmost importance when it comes to public spaces. It is extremely important to uphold these standards. There are several stakeholders in the matter of upholding standards. There are consultants in construction. It is important to work in keeping with these standards. I say that this should be investigated and that the root of the problem should be unearthed and the responsible parties punished. I believe that there needs to be a review of the previous projects undertaken by this contractor and the consultants, and there must be some oversight over future projects that they will be involved in.
කොන්ත්‍රාත්කරු ඒකට සම්බන්ධ උපදේශකවරු ඉස්සරහට කරන වැඩ පිළිවෙලත් ඉතින් පහුගිය කරු වැඩ පිළිවෙලත් පොඩි සමීක්ෂණයක් කළ යුතුයි කියලා අනාගත.
Today marked yet another landmark for Newsfirst, a revolutionary Newsfirst classroom project, with the program's 150th workshop being held in Wattegama, Kandy.
A commemorative event was held at the Kongala Navodaya Mahavidyalaya in Wattegama, Kandy today to celebrate the holding of the 150th Newsfirst Classroom Workshop. The event was held under the auspices of the Chief Minister of the Central Province, Sarath Ekanaika. A group including executives of the MTV and the MBC network were present at the occasion.
What you have learned at this workshop and the media literacy you have gained from it will be essential in the future. I ask that you use this as a learning experience for your social life. I thank the Citizen Network and Newsfirst for going beyond the confines of media and implementing this program for the children. I pray that you will receive the strength and courage to hold many more programs of this nature. We implemented this program to fulfill our social responsibility. Our intention here is to instill in you the message that no matter what is said on the television and the radio or what is published in the newspapers, you need to be thoughtful recipients of that information. As a school, we are preparing to embark on a major journey, upholding our identity while at the same time giving prominence to the national skills requirement. Sirasa and Newsfirst held a 3-day workshop here and have selected us for the 150th program. We are happy about this.
Students were educated on the various sectors of the media and communication fields during the 3-day workshop. Newsfirst was also presented with a memento at the conclusion of the program in recognition of the service rendered.
Opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe has accused the government of compromising the country's trade union movement. He made this statement at a discussion held today. The discussion between the UNP-affiliated Jatika Sevaka Sangamaya, the UNP Working Committee and opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe was held at the headquarters of the Jatika Sevaka Sangamaya this morning. The trade unions do not have as much power as they did in the past. One of the problems today is that the government is compromising the trade union movement. As a result of the movement being compromised, we cannot speak about large-scale embezzlement that is happening in the country today. We do not have that strength, especially with regard to the Employees Provident Fund. We established the trust fund. What has happened to these funds today? Are they being used to pay government debts? How much money has been left over for the employees? How much of that money has been sunk into covering the government's deficit? Eventually, what has happened is that there is no money to provide the provident allowances that employees in this country are due. These funds are being maintained with much difficulty today. The Provident Fund must be protected. They have compromised the trade union movement so they can steal from the Provident Fund.
The wholesale prices of several vegetables, which stood at over 100 rupees per kilogram just a month ago, have reduced to between 30 and 40 rupees per kilogram. The Dambula Economic Centre Traders Association points out that the prices of some types of vegetables, including pumpkin and cucumber, is close to 10 rupees per kilo.
These vegetables being discarded at the Dambula Economic Centre are varieties that were selling at more than 200 rupees per kilogram a month ago. The stocks are being discarded owing to excess supply at the Dambula Economic Centre.
Pumpkin is selling at about 10 to 12 rupees. The supply is too high. There is the Malaysian pumpkin variety where the yield is large enough to break a lorry. The pumpkin yield in our settlement was about 500,000 kilograms. This price is enough for us. We used to get 60 to 70 rupees prior to this. The price is low due to excess supply. Cucumber is selling for between 4 and 5 rupees.
Why has such a situation arisen in the case of vegetables like pumpkins and cucumber?
Since the prices were very high about 2 to 3 months ago, the farmers started cultivating even more. Cucumber and pumpkin grow in about 40 days. They produce these vegetables and now there is excess supply at the Dambula Economic Centre. All the other vegetables that were selling at over 100 rupees are now being sold at 30 to 40 rupees at the Economic Centre. The Mahasangha and United National Party activists have called on party leader Ranil Wickremesinghe to dissolve the Leadership Council immediately and commence campaigning for elections through the appointment of a new deputy leader. They point out that the party cannot emerge victorious through a Leadership Council which consists of outsiders when there are suitable leaders within the party.
From the instant that the Leadership Council was appointed, I was the one who said that the persons appointed to the Leadership Council were of no use and that the Leadership Council should be dissolved. Today, that opinion has been affirmed. Following the appointment of the Leadership Council, the party has been dragged further towards the precipice and towards defeat. In 1977, J.R. Jayawardena secured an extraordinary 5-6 victory for the party because he appointed Ranasinghe Premadasa as his deputy. Premadasa was with the people. Jayawardena identified this and appointed him even though there were other leaders within the party such as Lalit and Gamini. The party, which has suffered defeat again and again, is being driven into a precipice by the Leadership Council. We request the leader to enact reforms immediately and lead the party onto the victorious path from the Uva province. Honourable Leader, it was Mangala Samarveera who destroyed your campaign when you were nearing victory in the presidential election. Here is an individual who dressed you up as a member of the LTTE and assassinated your character. Yet he is in the Leadership Council. Who are the others? Vijayadas Rajapaksa, Karu Jayasuriya, who crossed over. The Leadership Council is pointless. Dissolve it immediately. In 1977, Jayawardena secured a 5/6 majority by appointing a suitable deputy leader, that was Ranasinghe Premadasa. As die-hard UNPers, we urge you to take this step.
උද්ගලයෙක් වශයෙන් ඔබතුමාගේ ඉතා කාරුණිකව ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා මේ පියවර ගන්න.
A main branch of the United National Party in the Kolonawa electorate was declared open yesterday.
The office was declared open under the auspices of UNP General Secretary MP Tisat Nayaka. When comparing the 15 electorates in the Colombo district, I can responsibly say that the Kolonawa electorate is one area which has the most underdeveloped infrastructure facilities when taking into account the roads and drainage systems. The education system in Kolonawa electorate has been destroyed. The Kolonawa electorate does not have a proper housing system for the homeless, and the houses which are already in existence do not have a proper environment. That is not all. The people in the Kolonawa area are not junkies. However, this government has allowed room for drug dealers to enter Kolonawa and are waiting till the drug menace engulfs the area.
Welcome back.
Moving on to other local news, former legal draftsman and current deputy principal of the Sri Lanka Law College, President's Counsel Therese Pereira, says lawyers should be the driving force of law reform. She made these remarks while delivering the Kamala Sabesan Memorial Oration in Colombo last evening.
The Kamala Sabesan Memorial Oration is organized annually by the Kamala Sabesan Foundation, established to ensure the continuity of the ideals of former Attorney General of Sri Lanka, the late President's Counsel, K.C. Kamala Sabesan. Prominent members of the legal community, including Minister of Justice Rauf Hakeem, Attorney General Palita Fernando, and President of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, Upul Jayasuriya, were present at the occasion.
Lawyers apply the law in their practice. Lawyers grapple with the defects and the lacunas in the law. And it naturally follows that the lawyer should be at the forefront or the driving force of law reform. The duty to press for law revision and law reform is, in my opinion, and rests firmly with the community of lawyers. The reason for this not to happen, I believe, is the attitude that the creation of law is the sole domain of the state, and therefore updating the law is also the sole domain of the state.
A former member of the LTTE who was convicted of aiding and abetting the assassination of former North Central Province opposition leader Major General Janaka Pereira was sentenced to 20 years of rigorous imprisonment today.
The suspect, former colonel in the LTTE, Shanmuganathan Sudhaharan, was produced before Judge Sunanda Kumar Ratnayaka of the North Central Provincial High Court today. After considering all the evidence that had been submitted, the court sentenced Sudhaharan to 20 years of rigorous imprisonment. Shanmuganathan Sudhaharan was charged with conspiring to assassinate and aiding and abetting the assassination of Major General Janaka Pereira between the 1st of January and the 6th of October 2008.
One of the senior-most trade union leaders in the country, Bala Thampo, was laid to rest today. Bala Thampo passed away at the age of 92. Thampo is also an attorney at law and member of the Trotskyist Samasamaja party. His constant struggle for workers' rights led to his removal from the public service in June 1947, after he supported a strike action demanding union and political rights for public servants. The tireless campaigner who did not let anything hold him back, including his age, Bala Thampo, as the General Secretary of the Ceylon Mercantile, Industrial and General Workers Union, became a voice for the voiceless. His remains were cremated today at the Boralla Public Cemetery.
An 18-day-old infant who was dashed on the ground today by a woman in the Kahathudu area in Ambalangoda has died. The police media unit stated that the incident was a result of a personal dispute that had led to the woman grabbing the infant from the arms of its mother and repeatedly dashing him on the ground. Neighbors had handed the suspect over to the police. The infant, who sustained critical injuries, was earlier admitted to the Kalabovila Teaching Hospital. Police say that the 22 22-year-old woman who was taken into custody has been residing at the infant's residence at the time of the incident.
And up next is Action TV. While the economic growth rate should be expedited as a direct benefit of peace, one of the government's primary strategies to achieve this goal is transforming the country into a tourist hub. In order to make the country a tourist hub, there needs to be tourist attractions as well as peace. The golden sandy beaches of the island are one of the primary tourist attractions of this nation. While the entire island is surrounded by idyllic beaches, there are limited areas to which tourists flock to in large numbers. The Negombo beach, only a few kilometers out of Colombo, is one of those locations. Given its location, a majority of beach-going tourists that visit Sri Lanka flock to the Negombo beach. Its status as a tourist hotspot is further solidified by its proximity to the Bandaranaike International Airport. While the regulation and conservation of the coast comes under the purview of the Coast Conservation Department, it is the duty of the relevant local government institutions to ensure hygiene and sanitation at these beaches. Thereby, maintaining the idyllic beauty of the Negombo beach is a responsibility vested in the Negombo Municipal Council. A machine obtained by the Municipal Council to clean up the beach at a substantial cost is currently rusting away and is in a dilapidated state. As a result, images such as this have become commonplace at the Negombo beach.
Which is why you have this collection of plastic and bottles and shoes, and it's a shame. What you should have is all the guest house owners, all the hotel owners should say, okay, maybe 50 rupees a week. I pay 50 rupees a week. We employ 3-4 people. All they do all day is up and down the beach and recycle the rubbish. It's simple. It's not.
In addition to those who make their living off the tourism industry, there are plenty of people in Negombo who rely on the industry indirectly for their livelihoods. Large-scale hotels and small to medium-scale guest houses pay considerable taxes to the Negombo Municipal Council. It is the responsibility of the Municipal Council to render service in line with the monies that it charges from these businesses. It should be the aim of the administration of the country and the city to ensure that a tourist who comes here once wants to come back over the next 20 years. About 6 months ago, they cleaned the beach using a machine they affixed to a tractor. That is not happening now. Shouldn't steps be taken to erase these images which paint a picture of squalor to visitors to this country? Mayor of Negombo, over to you.
Ahead of the 2015 Cricket World Cup in Australia and New Zealand, M Entertainment launched the World Cup Cricket Song Challenge yesterday. The event was held to launch one of the most celebrated cricket anthems of our time, Sri Lanka Kollo Vasai by the Gypsies. Through the competition, a concept will be selected for the music video for the song, and the winner will receive a cash prize of 25,000 rupees. In addition, aspiring lyricists are invited to submit their songs on Sri Lanka cricket, and the best creations will be launched through an album. Music videos will be created for selected tracks, and the completed album will be launched at a concert scheduled to take place in December.
And on sports news tonight, it's volleyball. Sri Lanka recorded victory in the inaugural fixture of the 10th Asian Youth Men's Volleyball Championship today, defeating Saudi Arabia 3-0.
15 teams are competing in the 10th Asian Youth Boys Volleyball Championships under 4 categories at the Sugata Indoor Stadium complex in Colombo. The Sri Lankan men's team dominated their Saudi Arabian rivals today, winning all 3 rounds with scores 25-14, 25-15 and 25-19. Also in action today, Kazakhstan was defeated 3 rounds to 2 by Australia. Chinese Taipei defeated Hong Kong 3 rounds to none in their encounter, which worked off this evening. The tournament organized by the Sri Lanka Volleyball Federation is considered to be the tournament that has seen the highest participation rate in the history of the sport in Sri Lanka.
Let's now join Joel Outscoon for the latest update on the weather situation.
very good evening to all of you and welcome to the Newsfirst Weather Center with me, Joel Outskoon. Starting off with, the Met Department says that rains will be experienced in the areas which have been affected by the drought towards the end of September. Now, taking a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours, the Met Department says that the western, Sabragamo Central and also the northwestern and the southern parts of the country will receive rainfall. Now, heavy rains also could be experienced accompanied with strong winds throughout the island. Now, taking a look at the weather forecast in the sea areas, the Met Department says that the sea areas extending from the coast of Putlam, Colombo, Galle, Hambantota, Batiklo and also the northern part of the country will receive rains at times.
And on a somber note, TV host Joan Rivers, popularly known as the Queen of Comedy, has passed away at the age of 81.
Rivers had been on life support in Mount Sinai Hospital since having a cardiac arrest in New York last week.
In a statement, her daughter Melissa said she died surrounded by family and friends, and she thanked hospital staff for their amazing care. The comedian, best known for her lacerating wit, stopped breathing during a procedure on her vocal cords at an outpatient clinic yesterday. Mourning fans gathered to lay flowers and remember the iconic comedian at her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
She was a funny person that, she made fun of herself.
She was a very strong woman. She knew what she wanted. She went after it. She got it. Worked to the day she died. Great woman.
But yeah, as a character, really liked her personality, thought she's very funny,
I'll show you fear. That's fear. If my book ever looked like this, it would mean that nobody wants me and that everything I ever tried to do in life didn't work. Nobody cared and I've been totally forgotten.
And that's a wrap from all of us here at News First. I'm Sonali Vanikababige.
And I'm Nadim Majid. Just a reminder that you can keep abreast of all the stories we're following here at News First by visiting our website Newsfirst.lk. You can also follow us on Twitter on the handle at Newsfirst_EN. Have a pleasant weekend ahead. Good night and good luck.